Hello again, Jim Dowson here. We've got a wee bit of a roundup for you today in the Templar Report. We have the world is burning, it's on fire. We're all going to die because the Amazon rainforest, can't be that wet there, is on fire. We'll be coming to that a wee bit later on. And we've also got this hideous story about sex dolls. I know it's not the thing you would normally hear or expect to hear in the Templar Report, but I need to talk to you about sex dolls that are made in the shape of all sorts of things, including children as young as 5. Watch the Templar Report and you'll find out all about it. Hello again, Jim Dowson here, guest presenter with the Templar Report. Now I want to speak to you today about a subject that's all over the news right now, and we're all going to die, the world's doomed, and we've only got a few years to live because the climate's changing. No, it's not. Don't listen to it. It's nonsense, and you heard it here. So I'm not some kind of conspiracy theorist, but those who tell you, as a lot of the lefties do now, that within 15 years the planet will die, they are conspiracy theorists because they're mad. There's no truth to it at all. But what's on the news in America, Canada, Australia, Britain, all over the world right now, these wildfires in the Amazon rainforest. How can you have a fire in the rainforest? Well, think of that. How can you have a fire in the rainforest? You know, when you see it on the TV, in the Amazon rainforest, there's water everywhere. You couldn't light nothing. You couldn't light anything in it. So having a fire in a rainforest doesn't happen. But anyway, I'll explain a wee bit more in case you think I've went silly. We've been told in the news that these fires are burning all over the Amazon. They're out of control and the lungs of the earth are dying. Utter nonsense. Let me quote you a few things. In the last few days, NASA satellite data indicated that the total fire activity across the Amazon basin this year has been close or average in comparison to the last 15 years. So there's nothing out the blue, there's nothing unusual, there's nothing out the normal here. It's the same as it always is. There's fires all the time. I mean, the Amazon basin is bigger than the whole of Europe. So having a few thousand fires in it, it's very common. And NASA themselves, from satellite data, says, no, it's perfectly normal year. And the fires are mainly on agricultural land as the farmers prepare their land for planting, not in virgin rainforest. So they're on what we would call the pampas, as people have cleared the forest and put up farms in there. It's the grasslands that's on fire. And if you look at some of the news reports, have you seen one single news report from the depth of a forest? I haven't. It's all grass fires burning wild. And that's what we're seeing. It's a lot of grass fires burning wild. And also consider this, deforestation has decreased markedly compared to the 1990s to 2005. There's been a massive decrease in deforestation. That's the reality. These are facts. These are figures that you can trust. And the Amazon rainforest does not produce 20 or 30 or 40%, as some will say, of the world's oxygen. In fact, almost all the oxygen the Amazon produces during the day remains there and is reabsorbed by the forest at night. So this nonsense that if the Amazon dies, we're all going to die, it's just garbage. It's utter nonsense, baloney, created by the same people who said, who was it said, it was that American politician that said a few years ago, by 2019, Al Gore, was it Gore? Aye, Al Gore said that we'd all be wearing big furry boots because we'd be in the middle of a mini ice age.
Britain would be underwater.
Britain would be underwater. Well, in Ireland, I live in Ireland sometimes, and it is permanently almost underwater because it rains every single day. But right now, I'm making this film today in the north of Ireland, and it's boiling. What's the temperature? About 68 degrees or something. So for us, that's tropical. And you might see my face is a bit red because it's hot for us. But we're supposed to be sitting with glaciers coming in from Belfast and in fact, we're supposed to be sunk into the sea and most of the northern hemisphere under 3 or 4 feet of snow. Well, I'm looking out the window here. Sunny day, not happening, Mr. Gore and all your other lunatics. So why do they do this? They do this to scare you, take your mind off the subjects that real matter, like healthcare, employment, and the mad things the government are doing all across the world. And I want you to consider this about anti-Amazon as well, because we're told a lot of lies about it. So it's not the lungs of the world. Definitely not. all the oxygen produced in the Amazon stays in the Amazon, and it's absorbed back into the trees at night time. And nor was the Amazon always a rainforest. Using satellite imagery, scientists have discovered the remains of once densely populated towns and cities in the Amazon basin. Satellite imagery found clusters of towns and small villages were connected by complex road networks and were arranged around large central plazas. So it's not always been like that. It's like, I suppose Burma's another place where people go and see these amazing lost cities in the forest. They weren't always in the forest. The forest was gone. The cities were there. But now the cities have reclaimed these... The forest has reclaimed these cities. So that's the way it's been. So why are we getting this on the TV? Why are CNN, BBC, why are they absolutely inundating us with this stuff about Brazil? Because it's all having a go at the Brazilian president. That's the key. What's that fella's name?
Bolsonaro.
Bolsonaro. Mr. Bolsonaro. Presidente Bolsonaro. We salute you, sir. He's been shooting all the drug dealers, sending the army, special forces into the favelas, having machine gun battles with these gangsters who've been left to their own devices for decades by the socialists who are frightened to move against them. This guy's a right-wing Christian, so he sent the boys in, wiping them out. Hundreds of them have been shot dead in the last few months. He's also defunded all this LGBTQ Rainbow Nation nonsense. He's got rid of all that. He's a brilliant guy. He really is a brilliant guy. He's solidly right-wing, a solid nationalist patriot. And guess what? The rest of the world hates him. The BBC, CNN, all the same people who hate President Trump, all the same people who are totally against Britain leaving the EU, the same people, you know the ones, bone through the nose, purple hair, and they're about 45-year-old and work for the government, them people. So they hate this guy. So anytime they have an opportunity to attack him, they attack him. So basically they're blaming him for the fires in the Amazon. They're blaming him for the lungs of the world collapsing. They're blaming him for deforestation and all the rest of it. Now, I want to be clear, especially our American friends, about deforestation. When my ancestors went to America, the 1720s, most of America, apart from the Central Plains, was covered by dense forest. So when you're in some of your nice towns now around about, I don't really know, what, Missouri and places like Arkansas and maybe places like that, and further over to the east, Georgia, Kentucky, the Carolinas, they were completely covered in forest. And our ancestors, to live and to carve a life out, first had to clear the land. And they cut down trees and removed the roots and made it into good, fertile farmland, for which now we're all eternally grateful, because it then nourished the greatest and most powerful nation the world has ever seen, the United States of America. So we can't sit back and say, oh, well, we cut our forests down to have a good life. And we did the same in Britain, by the way. Britain was covered in a gigantic forest in the time of the Romans, and then we cut it all down to become civilised. So we cannot, us, the Europeans or the Americans, we can't sit and tell poor Brazilians, you can't cut those trees down and try and feed your family with the crops you grow with the sweat of your brow, because it'll upset us. We've no right to tell people that. That's not on. That's ridiculous. And if there is a problem that need more trees, look, there's 3/4 of Scotland with not a human being on it. We could easily plant them. There's huge swathes of England. You could plant millions, tens of millions of trees. Huge swathes of Ireland, Germany, Hungary. In fact, I was in Bulgaria once. I drove for 9 hours and never seen another human being. I drove from one part of Bulgaria to another, not even the whole country. I never seen a soul. Beautiful, black, fertile soil. And I'm interested in these farming matters, and I inquired and I've done some digging about. And some of this topsoil is like the stuff you find in Africa. It's like 6 or 9 feet deep. Now, any of you boys in Idaho or Iowa, you'll know what I'm talking about. And men in Ireland will know what I'm talking about. Our topsoil, parts of Ireland, is 6 inches deep. So you're lucky if you get 1 crop a year. When you've got 6 foot of topsoil, you can grow 4 crops a year, no problem. So there's huge areas of Bulgaria like that you could very easily either use as farmland or plant out. And there's so much of Europe that can be planted out with billions of trees. So let's stop getting on the back of the poor farmers who are working hard and by the sweat of their brow want to make a better life for their children. And if that means they need to cut down the trees, cut them down. And that's that. So I have no problems with that. But just remember, all of this is a left-wing libtard attack on what's his name? Bolsonaro, I keep thinking Baltazar, good grief, and get mixed up in the Bible stuff. But yeah, so it's all an attack on the president of Brazil for not playing ball with the liberal lovies. Good on you, sir. Don't let them bend you. And the free world is right behind you. And I know, funny enough, Donald Trump is very friendly with him, isn't he? Donald Trump thinks he's a good guy, so he must be okay, because I like Donald Trump. Right, moving on. Oh, dear me, what's this here? Oh, this is a cracker for you today. The demand for sex doll clones is soaring. There's clones? Good grief. So let me try and work through this. I've never actually seen it. Have you seen a sex doll? Have you actually seen one in real life?
Not in real life.
No, what do you think? Have you seen one in real life? No. Good, I'm glad I'm sitting in a room with normal gentlemen and not a bunch of weirdos. Okay, I've never seen one in real life. I seen a story once in America with this old boy. They bought one of these early model latex sex dolls. Why would you want to have a sex with a lump of latex is beyond me. But anyway, and it was really heavy. It weighed about 170 kilos. I don't know how many pounds that is. It's like 400 pounds. So he put it on a block and tackle in his garage, and he used to hoist it up, and then he would do his sex stuff with it. Anyway, it fell off and landed on him. Shouldn't he laugh, because it's quite tragic, actually. And his family found his rotten, emaciated, maggot-ridden body weeks later with this big lump of latex lying on top of him, dressed as a Japanese schoolgirl. So, another reason you shouldn't use things, you never know what's going to go wrong. It's weird, but what a way to go. Imagine your family finding you like that. Oh dear, no thank you. So, the sex doll industry has boomed in recent years. Oh, I've heard this. A British journalist spoke to the manufacturers at Silicon Sex World to ask which of their products are selling well at the moment. Bizarrely, customers are asking creators to make figures that resemble their friends' girlfriends. Oh dear, it's creepy. Dolls of all shapes and sizes are available. Some companies specialise in BBW. What's a BBW? Fat. BBW?
Yeah.
Don't know. Well, big fat sex dolls. Big fat women. So they're getting these massive big fat. What on earth? Honestly, if you're that desperate you have to go and get a sex doll made, why wouldn't you get one of Christina Aguilera or something like that? Why would you go and get a big fat woman made into a sex, or a model done a big fat? I don't get it. Anyway, some of these companies specialise in big fat women sex dolls or mature sex dolls. So that's old women, I take it. Good grief. This world is getting so... Oh, Lord, come back quickly. Can't stand any more of this. So they're not even normal perverts. They're not getting attractive young females. They're getting big fat women or old granny sex dolls. Perverts. Well, they're all perverts, but anyway, in Britain, sex dolls currently go for around £4,000. It's about $5,000 or $6,000. £4,000 for a sex doll? Good gracious. My goodness. That's ridiculous. You could probably go to one of these Eastern European countries and buy a real woman. Cheaper. Not that I'm suggesting you should go and buy real women, but you know what I mean? You dowry to the family and this kind of thing. It's all done the way we used to do it. Pay a dowry to the family, you get a nice wife. Much better than buying a big lump of rubber. Anyway, sex dolls are not popular everywhere. A petition calling for a ban on importing life-size sex dolls into South Korea has gathered nearly 250,000 signatures. Well, I mean, well done, South Korea. By the way, South Korea is the biggest Presbyterian country on earth. So I hope it's some kind of moral thing that they've...
It's feminist.
Oh, feminists.
Yeah.
So it's feminists. It's not even good, solid, Bible-believing Christian folk are outraged by it. It's feminists. So I want to talk about this here because we're looking at these robotic dolls with heartbeats, and the ability to give verbal cues are being made in Japan and China. And they're being intercepted by the police going to Australia. Some of these dolls, as it says here, appear to be models of children as young as 5. Well, I would suggest that if anybody's caught ordering one of these... I mean, look, ordering a sex doll is weird enough. The people say, oh, Jim, you're too harsh. Well, if you're a guy in your 50s or 60s and your wife's died and you've still got these urges, and deal with it. Don't go out and buy a big £200 lump of rubber at $5,000 and then have sex with it. What's wrong with you? What on earth why don't you just buy a beach ball or something like that and get stuck into the beach ball? What on earth is wrong with your brain? You're demented. You're sick. Don't do it. And there's a lot to be said for maybe as you get a bit older, not having that in your life distracting you anymore. You could concentrate on the things, contemplating God's word, getting ready to meet your maker, because you're nearly dead, for goodness sake, man. And you're occupying yourself with latex dolls modelled on grannies and big fat women. Sick beyond belief. And as for these weirdos who want dolls to look like children, execution. Yep, that's it. I make no bones about it. These people should be rounded up and executed, because these people are paedophiles. They say, Jim, but they're having sex with a doll that looks like a 5-year-old. You for real? You should be executed. You should be hung by the neck until you're dead. Or at the very least, to be merciful, castrated. So it's not in your mind anymore. Because if you're buying a £4,000 doll of a child to have sex with, you are one sick scumbag parasite. And you shouldn't be breathing the same air as normal people. And let me tell you, the people who are buying these big fat women dolls and these granny plastic dolls as well, you're not far behind them. Honestly, it's absolutely ridiculous. I know how the world works. I'm a man. I've got passions and all the rest of it. But never in a million years would I be out buying some big lump of rubber and rolling about. How could you even roll about with these things? I mean, they weigh hundreds of pounds. I mean, you wouldn't even be able to roll about with this thing. Why would you roll about with it anyway in the first place? It's not right. There comes a time in your life, in the normal cycle of life, you should have been married, you've had kids, you've had grandkids, you're now in the twilight years. You have to sit and contemplate your life and contemplate whether you stand before God, because you're going to see Him very, very shortly. And the last thing you want to be doing is occupying your mind with spending hard-earned money and your children's inheritance buying these rubber sex dolls with heartbeats and ones that can even talk to you. For goodness sake, I couldn't think of anything more unpleasant than a robot doll talking to you. Good grief, be frightening, wouldn't it? Absolutely frightening. So that's where we are. That's where we are. We've got a load of nonsense going on in South America, where they're blaming a good right-wing president for everything that's going wrong in the world and burning down the rainforest where he's got nothing to do with it. And we've got oddballs and weirdos buying big rubber dolls of old women and big fat women and children. And they're going to Australia. Are they all going to Australia? Is it Australians that... Australia, you have a problem because you seem to be top heavy in ordering these things. So I would appeal to our Australian brethren, I know you're watching, do something about this. Start asking about, start putting petitions up. None of this nonsense in Australia. You've got enough problems in Australia. No more garbage in Australia. No, none of these Chinese-made sex dolls. And we're not supposed to be in a trade embargo with China. There's something going on. Well, can we not add this to the trading bargain? Never mind their cheap car parts and their dodgy computers with spyware in it, that Huawei and whatnot. Let's ban their rubber sex dolls. Let's ban them. And what kind of freaks are in Australia, who are actually, in China, beg your pardon, what kind of freaks are in China actually sitting down and manufacturing sex dolls to look like 5-year-old children? China, you should be ashamed of yourself. And if that's the stuff that's coming in from China, I'd ban the whole lot of their stuff until they take this off the market. It's disgusting, and I believe it's actually demonic, because no normal human being would want to indulge in this type of behaviour. So anyway, again, that's all from me on the Templar Report, and I will see you again in the very near future. Take care and God bless you.
The threat is real, and we are on the front line. In a world of misinformation and attacks from the left and mainstream media, censorship, deplatforming, it is time to call out the fake news and bring you the truth. We are the Knights Templar. Visit our website and join today. We are the Resistance. Deus Vult.